Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're looking at the SH Figuarts Armored Red Ranger. I almost said armored, that's not a word. The Armored Red Ranger, which is basically just a repaint of some Green Ranger parts and some Red Ranger parts are on there, and he's got a head that is the Red Ranger head. So nothing too exceptionally new here, but still a pretty cool figure, and he's got some decent accessories. As far as I know, he only comes in this packaging. There is no Japanese version, at least not that I know of, so this is what you're looking this is what you're looking for, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers packaging. And I'd like to point out that my cat has overtaken the review station once again. So we're going to have to bear with him and see if he freaks out or anything while we're doing this. Okay, so Armored Red Ranger, he stands, as we expect, about 5 3/4 inches tall, same exact molds that we've already seen. Only real difference with this guy is that he has the holster for both the Dragon Dagger on his right side and his Ranger Stick on the left, which I would just like to point out that I don't like the name they gave that tool, his weapon, the Ranger Stick. Sounds a little weird, I think. There goes the cat. Alright, and I wanted to show you the Ranger Stick doesn't come out of the holster very well, and you have to kind of force it in there, so be careful. And this pops off quite easily as you're doing that. Luckily, you can just put it right back on. So unfortunately, with the Armored Red Ranger, this is the only version we got. We don't have the pistol version or any of the other stuff that they do with these things. So it's really only good for being in the holster, which is kind of disappointing, I guess. It is detailed really well, though, so that's kind of cool. We'll just set that aside. Then we also have the, what is that called? The Power Sword, I think. Let's see, I think it might say on the packaging. Does it? It does. It does not, but it's on the instruction sheet. Either way, I think it's called the Power Sword. That is like the same one we already got. Again, really great detail, sculpt work, paint work, everything. Really awesome. And then the Dragon Dagger, same one we already got again. And again, it has really great detailing and sculpt work and is really, really well done. So that's pretty darn cool if you ask me. So those are it for the accessories. He has a total of 10 hands, which is a bit of a departure from the White Ranger, who only had a total of 4. That I don't understand that. It really kind of bothers me that they did that, but what are you going to do? So this guy is a combination of the hands from the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger, because the handles for this sword and the handle for the Dragon Dagger are different diameter. This is kind of narrow. So he has two, let's see, here's one of the open hands that has a bigger opening. He's got one for each side for that. Let's see, so he's got these two open hands here for holding that. Then he also has this one and this one for holding the Dragon Dagger, just a slightly smaller opening in the hand. And then he has the Dragon Dagger specific hands for playing it. So you hold it with one hand like that, like we saw on the Green Ranger. And then we have these two open hands just for posing purposes. And we have two fist hands, so one for each side for the fist hands. So lots of hands, which is always nice. Lots of posing options, so that's very cool. As far as the paintwork goes, really no problems. The only issue I have at all is that on the gloves, I don't know if you can see that, the red doesn't quite go to the sculpted detail lines. So it's not ideal, but it's not horrible either. The paintwork on the armor is just fine. The paintwork on the belt's just fine. The face, no problems there either. Really, everything's pretty darn good. I guess one thing to point out is that the lower arms are actually molded in white, since painting white sucks. They mold them in white and then paint the red parts, which makes sense, except the red part of the arm that's actually painted on the white here, it's not quite the right shade, but it's not horrible, so it's not really a big deal. As far as posability goes, everything is the same again. The neck's on a ball joint, the head's on a ball hinge, so full range of motion. Shoulders have this double ball joint type thing, double barbell, with that floating cup thing in there to kind of mask the joint. And you can usually rotate it around to look pretty decent. So full range of motion there. That has a ball hinge connected to the ball peg that I was talking about. So that kind of covers the swivel as well as the shoulder articulation. Then we have the double jointed elbow, which gives him a good range of motion there. We have the ball hinge, so it rotates at the forearm and in the hand, and does have the hinge as well, so that's pretty good. The upper torso joint, I believe it's just a single ball peg. It has almost no range of motion on these guys. It's a little disappointing. you get just a little bit forward and back, mostly back. Forward is pretty much not there at all. You get just a tiny bit of swivel, but it doesn't really work due to the shape, so that's pretty disappointing. Then the lower torso has pretty good range of motion. Again, we don't get to go too far forward. These guys can't bend forward too much at all. It goes back okay side to side, and that's where you'll get most of your swivel. The belt is floating to hide that articulation, so that's nice. The hips have these hinged ball pegs, so you can bring them down, and it gives you a greater range of motion, which is really good design. I love the way SH Figuarts does that. So that's a ball peg in there that's actually just on a hinge, so that moves up and down like that. Then the ball peg obviously is just an old school ball peg for the hip, and then the thigh can swivel around that, so pretty good range of motion there. Double jointed knees. Again, it's still kind of ugly, but it's definitely effective, so I'm not going to complain too much. And then the ankle is just like the wrist. It swivels at the shin and then at the foot, and it has pretty much all the posability you could ever want. It gives you an ankle rocker. The only problem is it's a little bit limited going forward, but you do have the toe joint, so that will accommodate most posing options. So really there's not too much more to ask for in these guys. They're pretty darn cool. The only thing that would make them better is if they came with their Zords, and that's probably not going to happen, so I'd say this is a pretty good buy. I do recommend it. I'm pretty sure BBTS still has them in stock. I don't know if anybody else has them available right now, so if you want them, use the link in the description and go get you some. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. In the meantime, keep collecting.